Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Well, if you're new, we're the Douglases and we make videos on our two main passions in life. Travelling. We'll take you on the adventure with us as we try and explore as much of the world as we can and show you that you don't need to quit your job and go travelling to gain great experiences. And renovating our first house and garden. With no previous experience, we'll test ourselves and hopefully pick up some new skills along the way. We upload videos every Friday, so hit subscribe and join us on our adventures. Anyway, back to today's video. In last week's video we gave you a tour of our vegetable garden and what we've planted. If you haven't seen it yet, you can see it in the link above. We've had a few people ask how we made it and if it was hard, so I thought we'd create this video and show you exactly how we made all this area and hopefully inspire you to grow something yourself. We built these raised beds out of old reclaimed railway sleepers. We bought them off a farmer who had a load in his field for about £15. You can also get them online. We much prefer the look of these old reclaimed railway sleepers rather than the freshly cut ones you can get from the garden centre. They were really easy to make. You just cut them to size with a chainsaw, position them, and then screw them in with railway sleeper screws. And that's it. Some people would run a metal strip on the inside, joining the two layers together. But we didn't want to do this because we didn't want any metal going in the soil, plus they're rock solid and they're not going to move. This year we decided we needed to block the vegetable garden off a bit because last year we just had the raised beds and it was a bit too open and we'd occasionally find Rashford or the chickens in them. So we wanted to have a dedicated vegetable garden that's fenced off from the rest of the garden. Anyway, enough of me babbling on, let me show you how we made it. Our house was built in the 50s, and as with many houses built back then, they built this hideous long concrete path and concrete washing line. We've wanted to get rid of this since moving in, so this job gave us the push to actually do it. It was going to take ages to remove with just a sledgehammer and a breaker bar, so I borrowed a jackhammer from Sorted Stanford to break it up into manageable pieces. Using the jackhammer was a lot of fun. However, I'd recommend getting some anti-vibration gloves because using it for 2 hours straight, I actually fucked my wrist for a couple of weeks. Once we removed the top layer of concrete, we had all the rubble underneath to remove and turn over the soil, making sure all the large and medium-sized stones were gone, as later we will be planting here. This was a long job. We found a mixture of our hands, a spade and a fork were the best combination. Then it was on to the concrete washing lines. It was going to be a good day to finally get these horrible concrete washing lines gone. Whoever put these in really didn't want them to fall down, as they were dug in very deep and had an excess amount of concrete around the base. This one we didn't need to get completely out, as all this area we planned to just reseed and have grass. The jackhammer came in really useful again and sped things up a lot. As you can see, Rashford kept a close eye on us to make sure we weren't slacking off. For the second post, we needed to remove it completely, as we planned to plant a cherry tree in its place. We approached this more like we were removing a fence post, digging a larger hole around the post, exposing more of the concrete base, before breaking off the concrete with a jackhammer and levering it out with the long breaker bar. And it was just a case of removing the rest of the concrete base to make it light enough to move. So now we've got the concrete path and the two washing lines gone, we can get on with extending the vegetable garden and reseeding this grass area. Reseeding this area was very easy. We simply filled in the hole left by the post with the soil we previously dug out. We then filled in the area where the path had been with bags of topsoil, bringing it up to the level of grass around it. Making sure to compress it down after each layer. remembering to remove any weeds and roots. As you can see, Rashford was a lot of help as always. And we just spread the grass seed out evenly. Once the grass seed was sown, we just watered it generously, and that was it. Now it's just a case of watering it every day, and adding some more grass seed to fill up the bare spots. As you can see, it's coming along nicely. It's been 2.5 weeks now. We've cut it a couple of times, so all we need to do now is keep watering it and add some more grass seed to some of these barer areas to help it thicken out, but quite happy with the progress. We perhaps didn't have the soil level quite as high as we should have, but hopefully once it fills out, it shouldn't look too obvious. As we mentioned in the previous video, we wanted a really nice metal or wooden fence to go around the whole vegetable area. Because of lockdown, we couldn't get the materials, but we needed a fence because we needed something for the nasturtium to grow up. So we thought, just for this year, we'll have a simple chicken wire fence held up with some metal posts. It doesn't look great, but it does the job. Now we knew what we were doing with the fence, we could get on with making the bark path around the raised bed and the planting bed along the fence line. Making the bedding area was simple. The soil where we live is quite clayey, so we added some clay breaker to help. We are fans of the no-dig method, so we just used a multi-purpose compost and spread it along the fence line, and then used bark to lay around the raised beds, so we can still get access all around the raised bed to pick the veg. So now we have the bark path that goes around all the raised beds, and we get the planting bed along the fence line. We realised that we needed some sort of border to stop it all mixing together and to hold this up. When it gets wet, we didn't want it to mix in with all the bark. And Ramonda had the idea of using the Scottish cobbles that we had left over from the pond to create a kind of wall between the two. And that's how we made our simple but effective vegetable garden. Let us know in the comments what you think, or whether we've inspired you to make your own. Maybe one of you more experienced gardeners could tell us something that we could have done differently, or that we should add.
Mm-hmm.